Hello everyone, welcome back for some more. Let's play the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. We are in the middle of investigating the second time. So it's like the fourth time we're investigating in the fourth case. Four, that's death, baby. So we have a couple places to go visit. One is we have the prison governor's office. We gotta learn what's going on with Governor Caden there. We also have to go see Kazuma because he's kind of being a little bit of a dweeb, right? We gotta learn what's up with him. So first off, let's go visit the prison governor, whose voice is kind of unfitting in a fitting way, you know? It's a very intentional choice on my part, and definitely not because I cannot do a non-high-pitched version of his accent. Oh, back again, are ya? Yes. Hello. I've heard all about your investigations. I heard the report just now. You found him, eh? Vigil? Yeah, luckily. Well, anywho, the laddie does no work here no more. So now your case is not to do with Barclay. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that. Well, of course, yeah. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago, so... Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the chop. Aye, Kimmer. You ken very well. So how about we handcuff Biscuit? Oh, they really are like little handcuffs. And as hard as irons, too. Well, the good news is that you can suck on them for a while, and then they, like, slowly get softer. So it's like, it's probably better, because then you don't eat too much, right? They're naturally low fat. So, what's brought you doing here today? Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about. About. Not a boot. Which, by the way, Canadians don't say. I'm sorry. I've never heard someone say a boot. I've never heard that. That's fake. Well, unless they're like, unless they're from the Maritimes. But the less we talk about Maritimers, the better. You know, we don't talk about those folks. And the funny thing is, people don't even know about them. The word Newfie means nothing to most people, unless they're a Canadian. Oh, is that so? We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something. Hey, weren't we told to not bring this up? Uh-oh. Did I not say Gregson's death is not to do with things that happened at Barclay? Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let's not footer with irrelevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here. So we're going to. Is there anything new to examine? Let's see, nothing's coming up as new. Well, there's the window there, but we don't have anything to say about that, I guess. Was that new? That is nothing of particular note. Okay, I couldn't tell if it was flashing or not for some reason. Hi, let's talk about the 10-year-old legacy. That murderer's botched execution and the whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, aye. A shocking embarrassment. Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean? Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution was... Wait, the coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution, Courtney Scythe, and my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in charge of the whole affair. But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it. Oh, the rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs. Oh, how could I say no? You never have too much iron in your diet. When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, he was so despairing he jumped out of your office window, didn't he? I didn't like to say, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. Do you not think he wouldn't have jumped from the shock of his crimes being exposed, eh? I do. You wouldn't say otherwise, though, would you? And then Sasato pokes him. It's like, don't do that. Of course, I cannot shun all responsibility myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anything that Ken's went on. That's the one that kills me. Ken's. I don't know how that's used. Actually, there's barely anyone that kens what... Is that supposed to be knows? It's probably knows. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That kens what went on at the time now. What Craigson haven't been murdered and Dr. Seif forbidden from having any visitors. Oh, that's interesting. No visitors. Someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away. Well, we're not going home empty-handed. And I wouldn't have dreamed of sending you packing without now, Kimmer. Here, take a handcuff or two. Oh, well, it would be so rude to say no. Wouldn't want to become anemic. Oh my god. You know, first 2 times I was like, okay, third one you got me. I suppose, if there's anyone who can still ken about what, who might still ken about what happened back then, it'd be that last from the forensic division. Shut up. Maria Gori, shut up. I hate this. Maria Gori. Maria Gori? Aye, Scythe's daughter. She didn't have no more. Just a one. That's oddly specific to say. Can I just say what I think right? I think Dr. Scythe is Iris's mom. I do. The fact that it's never been brought up and they're being very specific about this now. What a wee bairn's following in her mam's footsteps. You didn't ever see her without a scalpel in her hand. Ah! Yeah, we met her. And the hair color. Mama, what is this? Oh, where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? Like a little baby bird. Do you think Dr. Scythe Nope. Nope. Thought aborted. Dr. Scythe's daughter, Maria Gori. We could do with talking to her. Gori. Okay. So, she's Dr. Scythe's daughter, but her surname is Gori? Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I didn't ken in the ins and outs about it. She grew up watching her mom working with the bodies of folk who died in strange circumstances. Is this where I say that this was my mom's job? My mom and grandma, actually? Yeah, no, my grandma worked forensics. I think I've told the story before about how we'd be driving around and my grandma would be like, well, there's a place, you know, there's a nice hotel there, but I had to go see a man who splattered his brains all across the wall, and that's like that. And then my mom got a job, I think I talked about this in Ace Attorney even. Regardless, if you forgot, right? Like, I have forensics in my family. My mom's job was, oh, we need to, you know, get the bones of this person. Well, here's their leg chopped off, use acid, and get the meat off, right? So, very, very fascinating family time. That with the prison, you know. Yeah, because then my grandma went from being forensics to being the head nurse at a prison. So that's why I went. I never explained why I went to prison all the time for Christmas. I guess I should have, huh? Anyways, she grew up watching her mom working with bodies of folk who died in strange circumstances and decided to do the same with her own life. I cannot understand it myself. Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother. Or they just picked the same job because you had no idea what to do for your life, and when someone said you have to pick a job, you just looked at the only thing that you knew someone who could actually help you do all the, like, the paperwork and stuff to get with. I'm just saying. Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe. Oh, well. Well. Look how the cookie doesn't crumble, because it's really hard. Right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report. Good, we can go right to her and be like, what's up with that? Someone once told me once that the wee lass always loved her mom's stories about cutting up bodies. That's a bit weird. There's even a rumor that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby. Well, then perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago. I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us. We really need to speak to Miss Gory herself about this, I think. Well, thank you very much. I'm no happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions. I'm sorry, I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone. Can you not just stay away, no? Leave me alone and then I'll come back here, eh? What about the Asogi papers? How'd you come to ken know about that, laddie? There's no many folk around here, even in the prison, who heard of those papers. Well, I can't tell Mr. Vigil told me. I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir. This is stupid. There's only one person who knew about them. We are ratting out on him. We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and a testament. Is that right? The professor's, or rather, Genshin Asogi's. Aye, that's right. You're well informed, Jimmy. Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it? Havers, no, you're off at half cock? What? I don't have that time on my watch. Hey, you got the time? Yeah, it's about half cock right now. It's like, dang, bro, all right. I got what you're putting down. No worries, bro. Sorry. I've never heard that phrase before. And even just having this in, like, an Ace Attorney font is kind of killing me. Oh, no, I need to cancel. Thank you. Havers, no, you're off at half cock there. I think you didn't quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been. Oh, not. Oh, we heard elsewhere. Oh, did you just have it right here? Oh, let me have just a wee hook round here. I'm sure I can find it. Is it just here? Are you serious? Oh, here you are. See? Oh my god, it's right here. Last Will and Testament of Genshin Asogi, written with a calligraphy brush. Of course, I cannot read a word of those funny Japanese squiggles. Get these Japanese words off me. But I mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland. Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it. Oh, no secret code? So these are the Asogi papers? Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi, nae doubt about it. There's no mystery here, laddie, that's your lot. After all the stramash of that schleister of an execution, oh, we're getting into words. Oh, he sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it. I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case. The Asogi papers here, the only weapon I have. Maybe you could cast strengthening on it. Oh, one thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yeah? Those papers are not to do with Gregson's death. I'd prefer it if you didn't make no mention of them outside this office. Or rather, I wouldn't just prefer it. Consider it an order from the highest levels of our government. I understand. He would break me. He would break me in twain. I, Genshin Asogi, hereby request that upon my death, any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in the London be delivered to my son, Cosmo Asogi, in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, and in my knowledge I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. Yeah, okay, I don't see anything special here. It's a little concerning. Do you know these old men? Nope. Yep. Let's see, anything else? I don't think we have anything else we really need to show. Not really, right? Yeah, no. Okay, well. Miss Gory isn't... Okay, I thought I'd unlock that for us. But I guess not. Maybe we need to go talk to... It's not here, right? No. We go talk to Lord Chief Justice? No, nothing new there. Okay. Prison? No. I guess for now we'll just go check out with Kazuma-sama, and maybe he'll point us on the right direction. 2nd of November, Prosecutor's office. Oh, there's another little miniature set. This is the office of Prosecutor Asogi now, is it? Kazuma-sama is doing so well for himself. Even though he's always forced to kneel on the floor Japanese style in that dark corner, it's his habit to sit Seiza style whenever he's working. I couldn't do that. I would go insane. Playing chess, buddy? With yourself? Kazuma. I thought it wouldn't be long before you paid me a visit, Ryunosuke. I was right about what I said, wasn't I? Sorry? And you have all the makings of a great defense lawyer. Well, I always believed that you'd fulfill your dream of advocating in the British courts. I just never imagined for 1 second that it would be as a prosecutor. Seeing you stand in a foreign courtroom, so gallantly realizing your dream, Kazuma-sama, I'm truly happy for you. And I'm truly thankful to you, Judicial Assistant Mikotoba. So am I a third wheel? I think I'm a third wheel. Ryunosuke, I always thought it'd be fun for you and I to shake up the British legal system a little. You know, half cock, as brothers. This isn't quite how I envisaged it. Wow. Envisaged it. Wow. Getting fancy. Putting some French in there. But I suppose it's just another twist of fate. I've learned a lot of things during my time in London. About how Sasato-san's father was himself a visiting student here once, along with Judge Shigoku. And about what happened with your father. And you'll have no difficulty understanding why I had no choice. Why I had to find a way to get to Britain as a visiting student myself. I want to hear it from you, Cosma. As you wish, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Okay. Anything new to examine? Does he make comments now? Oh, he does. Here's Lord Van Zeek's incredibly stylish desk. It's not my style, though. No, I noticed you've been working at the little table on the floor, kneeling down Seiza style. I thought it was some kind of punishment set up by Lord Van Zeek's when I first saw it. I find it the most comfortable way to work. Is it that you try and get done your work as fast as possible because you hate it? I can't do it. After a couple minutes of sitting with my legs folded under me, they start to go tingly. Don't exaggerate, Ryunosuke. We both know you can't even manage a minute. Oh, dang. Called out. What do you think about the wine situation? Lord Van Zeek's fine collection of hollowed chalices and bottles, all neatly lined up. Yes, he's extremely particular about all that. He has a strict regime for everything, from the storage of the casks to the bottling of their contents. Gosh, you must be having a really tough time of it being his apprentice. Actually, no. Oh? He's so particular about it all, he refuses to let anyone else touch any of it. So it's been quite easy for me, in fact. Talk about weird. He's weird. What a weirdo. Okay, well, we got the little set here. Yep. There's the doohickey. What the? It's a scale model of the crime scene. Oh, yeah, I realize that. Does the prosecution office make a model of the scene for every single case? Apparently so. Is Van Zeek's just a little, like, figurine guy? Is he like Meltrelus? Sometimes it helps to visualize things better and notice things you hadn't spotted before. Actually, the miniature notice board is my work. Be honest, you enjoyed making that. know who the man in the portrait is? I think it should be obvious now, buddy. Why would I? What? But you're Lord Van Zeek's apprentice. Yes, apprentice, not friend. And during the time I was suffering from amnesia, I didn't even notice that picture. Oh, really? I mean, it's not the smallest picture. I wouldn't have the first idea what the man decorates his office with. Isn't that his brother? I'm pretty sure it's meant to be his brother. We're gonna talk about the bats? Ah, bat jump scare. On the 3DS, that'd be terrifying. You disturbed the bats, did you? Fitting companions of Lord Van Zeek's, wouldn't you say? Actually, I've seen things flying in Lord Strongheart's office too. Doves, I think. Perhaps you have to like birds to attain rank in the judiciary system here, Although bats aren't birds, of course. How about a sparrow for you? Is it so that he could do the sparrow slash? Can he do Subamagaishi? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nothing. Sorry. Just thinking out loud. You want to see him do the aerial ace. Nothing of note there? Baru? Okay, so... let's talk. Your disappearance. It's getting on for a year now, since what happened on the SS Burya. We were heading across the oceans from Japan to Great Britain. Guess it would be oceans plural, huh? When a bizarre series of coincidences led to those tragic events. I thought I'd lost my best friend forever. I must have been unconscious for a long time. When I awoke, I was lying on a bed. It was a narrow little room. There was a posy of flowers by the pillow. It took me a little while to realize that I was in the cabin of a ship. I slipped out of the room and headed up onto the deck. Were you already suffering from amnesia at that point? Yes, I didn't know what had happened or where I was. There was just this voice in my head. You have something to do, something no one else can know about. Go to Great Britain, your task awaits you there. I think that was God, buddy. It was a calling I couldn't ignore. It compelled me relentlessly. Out on deck, I saw that I was on a huge steamship and we were docked in a large port. It must have been Hong Kong. Yeah, it must have been. Presumably just before they were due to carry your body off the ship. I had no idea of the situation, but I did have the feeling that this was in some way my last chance. So I concealed myself among the disembarking passengers and went ashore. And I disappeared into the crowded streets of that foreign port city. So I could plan my onward journey to Great Britain. How would you do that? Just under a year ago, with all my past memories lost to me, I was left behind in Hong Kong. Everything was foreign to me. The sights, the sounds, the smells. Oh, he must have got a whiff of that stinky tofu or durian. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, that would... Oh, the smell's awful. Can't handle it. My head reeled. I was truly at a loss. I realized now that I'd escaped as a dead man, with nothing but the clothes on my back. No money, of course. Oh, how terrifying for you. Luckily, though, I had 2 feathers in my cap. One being your knowledge of English, I suppose? That's right. Oh, right, Hong Kong. Yeah, okay, no, that would be helpful, yeah. And on the back of that, I was able to pick up some work as a deckhand on a cargo ship. I was literally going to make a Shenmue joke, but that's what it's doing. Eventually, after calling at countless ports, I finally arrived at Dover. That must have been some 3 months ago now. Your formidable tenacity of purpose showing itself again. I mean, the man had lost his memory and had literally nothing to his name. But he still managed to make his way to London on the opposite side of the world. That's crazy. But of course, I had no idea why I'd moved heaven and earth to get here at that point. So, how did you end up becoming Lord Van Zeek's apprentice then? That can only be called an extraordinary stroke of luck, really. You see, I was stopped at the border because I had no papers. They took me straight to Scotland Yard. And by sheer coincidence, Lord Strongheart was there to attend a meeting. Okay, so if he only arrived 3 months ago, he's obviously not the Reaper of the Bailey brainwashed by Strongheart to do the dirty work on the off times. So nope, it's not that. We're good, right? He's off the hook. No murders. We're fine. That's when the second feather in my cap came into play. Would that have been your knowledge of the law? Yes, exactly. Lord Strongheart was curious about an Easterner with intimate knowledge of British law. He took me back with him to the Supreme Court and assigned me to the prosecutor's office. And then, 9 days ago, you finally got your memory back after the trial involving Drebber. Yes, I did. Okay. What about your father? Ever since I first met you at Yume, you talked about your dream. Mark my words, Ryunosuke. I'll be chosen as a visiting student and make my way to Great Britain someday. Boy, these two characters don't even look the same anymore. The loss of the headband is massive. Did you know the entire time about what happened to your father here? 16 years ago. Little baby Babu. When my father left on that exciting trip to Great Britain, I was just a boy. We took a photograph together that day, before his departure. My last memory of him. Can I get a raw screen of that? There we go. Right in there, I saw it there. Thank you. That'd be a good thumbnail, actually. Because it's not specific enough that someone might go, who's this mysterious child, you know? Because I don't want to put Cosmo in the thumbnail, obviously, right? What I remember most about my father is his unswerving sense of justice. Oh, well, there you go, thank you. 6 years after he left, a gentleman called at our family home. He told me that Genshin, my father, had been taken ill in England and passed away. It was Professor Mikotoba, your father, Sasato-san. Oh my. Ever since then, the professor was very good to me. Can we call him something else, please? That's confusing. Even up to fund my university education at Yume. I'll be forever in his debt. But nevertheless, I just couldn't bring myself to believe what he told me. Oh. Then one day, a letter arrived at our house from Britain. There was no indication of the sender, so I opened it assuming it was an old acquaintance of my father. What I read in that letter changed my entire life. What did it say? It said that my father had been a mass murderer, and the writer cursed the Asogi name. I wonder if that came from Benzeeks. Oh no! As a result of that letter, I found out what had been hidden from me all those years. It's almost assuredly from Benzeeks. Presumably, the letter was sent from the relative of one of the victims. If whoever it was had been a member of the judiciary, he could have been present at that closed trial. The letter revealed that my father had been sentenced to death, executed for being a killer. I'm so sorry you had to find out that way. I imagine the British government did its very best to silence whoever sent that letter. But someone who knew the truth and couldn't bear the resentment was always going to be a problem. But still, it could have been written by anyone. Why would you believe such a thing? There was a newspaper cutting included with the letter. It was the first I'd ever heard of the professor and his terrible killing spree. Well, what did my father have to say about the letter? I couldn't bring myself to show it to him. What? Why not? Because he deliberately concealed the truth from me by telling me my father was taken by a fatal illness. That couldn't have been easy for him, and he'd done it out of consideration for my feelings. So instead, I showed the letter to Judge Jigoku. Oh, to the other visiting student. He faltered for the briefest of moments, but then he just laughed the letter off. And in that moment, I saw it on his face. He was undeniably shocked, shaken momentarily before recovering his poise. A year later, my bereaved mother succumbed to the strain of grief, and she too passed away. That's when I made up my mind that one day, without fail, I would cross the seas to Britain and seek the truth for myself. The truth about my father, Genshin Asogi. I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way. Oh, Kazuma-sama. Hey, what about the Reaper's trial? What we learned today in court turned things completely on their head. It was an impressive piece of lawyering, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, you know. I almost don't want to believe it myself, but turns out that Inspector Gregson himself, the victim, was... It's clear that the inspector was behind the Reaper's activity all along. Huh? You mean you knew? The real question is, who's been giving orders to the inspector? Yes, Barak Van Zeeks is the real Reaper. Really? And I know that 10 years ago, it was him who decided my father must be a mass murderer and sent him to his grave. No, he was merely saying that justice was done as the law dictates. He's not to blame. Ultimately, it's people who condemn people. The law is just a tool that they use to do it. Whoa. Throw that up on VG Advisor, except don't, because big spoilers that it's his character saying it. When a man condemns another, he must take responsibility for his actions. Of course he must. But I know for certain, my father would never have taken another man's life. Kazuma. On the contrary, my father's life was taken by the Reaper. Is this him going on a tale of revenge for him? Can we show this? Kazuma, what do you make of... Are we actually... Wait. There's only one place where defense lawyers and prosecutors should discuss evidence. The courtroom. It seems you're still confused by the situation. That's what I make of it. I get the feeling my friend's always going to have the edge over me, isn't he? Hey, we're not showing him anything, huh? Can we... Are you sure we've asked everything we need to? Okay. Can we ask where Gory is? Do you know where? Oh, this came up in the trial, didn't it? As something a little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy report means that the new games have been added to the Nintendo Switch online service. Thank you. Also that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy report. Yes, there were some unexpected turns in the courtroom earlier. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone by surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite something. Well, considering when the pocket watch had stopped and the scorch marks on the candle, certainly a distinct possibility. The evidence and the scene both point to it. To be honest, it bothered me too, so I paid a visit to the autopsy room earlier. The coroner responsible wasn't there, but I got a name. It's Dr. Gory. If it wouldn't trouble you, Kazuma-sama, we'd very much like to speak with the coroner too. Of course, the last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the carpet. Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory is behind Lowgate Cemetery. Well, that's so... Why didn't Caden just tell us that? We were right there. Lowgate by Barclay Prison, you mean? You know it, do you? The prison where my father was incarcerated and robbed of his life. Kazuma-sama. Well, thank you. We'll pay a visit to the laboratory later today. Well, that's it. He's fading away. Ryunosuke, I want to thank you. What for? For this. You safeguarded the soul of the Asogi clan. Well, I just had a crazy idea. What if there's something wrapped in the hilt? Or like at the bottom there, like that latch, you pull it off and there's like a secret document in there or something. It said it's his last weapon, right? So, Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is that I never got the chance to draw it before I returned it to you. Karuma is said to have been forged by a master swordsmith during the Sengoku Warring States period. I come from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom had names above their head in HP bars, which meant they were a moderate threat to your average warlord of the time. Well then, you're a chip off the old block, I'd say. This blade, Karuma, is the symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname. You don't think Von Karuma? You don't... Do you think? There's no way. Wait, maybe? Because Karuma? Do you think... Oh my god. That's insane. What do you mean Francesca von Karma is literally like descended from Japan? Well, okay, I guess that makes more sense in the Japanese version. Okay. Really? Karuma? Does sound formidable, that's for sure. That's insane. That's the wildest thing, where just some guy... Whoa, my god, what are these connections? 16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in London, he had this sword forever at his side, which is why it means so much to me that I have it at my side again now, too. And that is all thanks to you. It was an honor. I did not think Von Karma would get a reference in this at all. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much. Kazuma, you've changed. No, Ryunosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who changed. I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zeeks given what happened. But the fact is, those events in this case are, well, unrelated? Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure? What do you mean? Never mind. That man is the Reaper. It's for that reason that the inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary. Can't let you do that, Star Fox. I know you'll do what you have to as a lawyer, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in court except the one guy who I explicitly want to take as prisoner. That's kind of the whole point of my job. I would expect nothing less. Until tomorrow then, in the Old Bailey. What a like a wonderful place to end the case, to go on, but no, we still gotta go to the forensics lab. So, alright. Forensics lab laboratory in the basement of St. Sinner's Hospital. Dr. Gory has taken Dr. Seiss' place. Wait. St. Sinner's is below... Wait. The forensic lab is in the basement of St. Sinner's. So does that mean St. Sinner's is behind the cemetery? God, the tightness of these cases is so strange. Oh, wow. Okay. I see we're going for a very different aesthetic here. Real talk, did this aesthetic even exist at this point of time? I feel like why am I pointing out anachronisms in Ace Attorney? It's fine. This place really is creepy, isn't it? Well, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected. But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? That's not worrying at all. What was that? What? She just... Is she making plushies? Dr. Gory? What? That noise before. I was sharpening my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them. Right. When following the collagen fibers in the dermis, an expertly sharpened scalpel cuts like cheese. Would you like a demonstration? Oh, yes, please. I'd love to see. Then, I think you'll do nicely. Huh? No, I wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time. Was that a toot? A little toot? Well, we came here to ask questions, so... Oh, you are... Okay, first off, we need to address this. This looks different to before. Of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Miss Gory is a young maiden. She has all sorts of charming little dolls and the like around her place of work. Look. Oh yeah, you're right. Perhaps she's not so strange after all. They're how I practice. Sorry? Mama always says that operations and dissections require speed and accuracy. I forget what voice I gave her originally, so I said the mama there. So I take out my needle and thread and stitch 3 new dolls every day. Ah, right. I used to make livers or kidneys or intestines, but Mama told me to make something more friendly instead. That's quite different to what I'd imagined. Do we have an age for you? Is there gonna be questions? Oh, that's you. 19, huh? Daughter of Dr. Scythe. Carries out all the autopsy work on corpses. Okay. Skeleton? Well, look at this. What a magnificent display case. A cherry... Oh, is this the same cherry wood? Intricate carving is joy. This is the same. Western cabinet makers really are very skilled, aren't they? Oh, it's 10 people. Pardon? It's made from the bones of 10 different people all mixed together. Some of my best work. I was admiring the case, actually. Scary skeleton inside is something I want to tend to ignore as best I can. You're strange. I wonder who is the strangest. What about bird? That looks like an owl and a crow up there. I know, and they haven't even twitched since we came in here. Well, no, they wouldn't have. Their taxidermy mounts, Mr. Naruhodo. I was afraid you were going to say that. I've been trying very hard to tell myself that they're just sleeping with their eyes open. Yes, I think perhaps you were wise to put something like your Dharma doll on display in the office instead. Nothing to say? Okay. Medicine. Look at all the bottles on the shelves in the cabinets. What an assortment of chemicals. These here are labeled highly toxic. Ugh, that's worrying. Because there are also things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals in here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by death. Nothing to say on that either. Okay. Those large jars seem to have pale things floating around in them. Those they're fruit liquors or something. Or like the pickled umeboshi plums. Or maybe snake wine. Do you know about snake wine? That's crazy. Anyways, that jar you're looking at up there contains monkey brains. Hey, I tried brains. I went to a hot pot place and they had brains on the menu, and my coworker was like, I got brains. And I'm like, I don't really want to eat that. And she's like, well, I'm going to put it in anyways. And it's hot pot. And the brains just kind of like coated all the food. So I ate brains. Don't like it. No, I don't like brains. No, I don't know why anyone would have that. Oh my. The composition is similar to the human brains they make for interesting study material. And in the next jar along, we have monkey. No more monkey anythings, please. If you say so. I like her. I really hope under there she's doing like a real hard like face, you know? I guess I can't do the face because then you have no idea what I'm doing, but you probably have an idea. Oh dear, the time when I still thought it was some pickled umeboshi plum seems so long ago already. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, all looks quite innocent. So why is it when you put them side by side, they seem so horribly disturbing? It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. That's Mama's dissection table. It's too high for me, though. It is? If I fell from that height in my sleep, it would really hurt. Wait, you mean you sleep in here? On the dissection table? Autopsy work is very involved. It's usually too late to think about going home when I'm finished. But I have bad dreams when I sleep here, and I always end up falling onto the floor. So I'd like to exchange that table for a lower one. Maybe you should just go home. Anything else? Anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Alright. Well, let's talk with you. What's up with the time of death? We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that. Well, good. Dr. Scythe has some scruples, at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us. For the time being, anyway. For the time being? You mean until we die? Hope that's a ways off. Okay, what? Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. Do you want to see a dead thing? Look, here's a dead man. About this, oh my god, is it literally, she's gonna be like, oh, he's dead, how lovely. About this photograph, Dr. Gory. Who's that? Sorry? It's Inspector Gregson, of course, the victim of the case. Ah, I see. I don't remember the faces. Internal organs, muscle tissue, bullet trauma, those are the things I remember. Well, please try to also remember that I don't want to know anything about all of that. Well, that was it. Just, yep, there's nothing to say about that, huh? Okay. We have a scruple with you. Dr. Gory, we actually came here to ask about this. He was very good. Good? Sorry? His skin didn't snag my blade once, and very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. This is what my mom did? Oh my god. We can skip those details. But there is one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. There we go. That's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. You have a face. Then please, tell us what happened. Oh, there we go. That's unlocked now. So, why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail. I was told not to write it. What? By whom? Male Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here. Lord Strongheart came? He said that from witness statements. He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on 1st November, when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it? Dr. Gory, you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions. And sooner or later, you're going to go the same way as your mother. Give it here, then. Huh? Oh my god, she's just writing it in. Why's she scribbling so furiously? There. You've written... What's she written? Tell us! Indeterminate. Aw. It'd be funny. It's just in big letters. Back off. But... Okay. Time of death is not possible. What does indeterminate mean? I'm not so good at the English. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy. What discrepancy? There was some fried fish. Shut up. The fish was plot relevant. There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat. And that fish had started to rot. Well, that's gotta take more than a day. What? If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off. Well, yes, but what are you really trying to say? It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death. Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do? Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time, then only the fish would have started to rot. With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not. But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not. But maybe in a factory or some other special places? Like the fair? I don't recall seeing any such factories or such like on Fresno Street, though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow. What might the actual time of death have been? I couldn't say for sure. But at most, it might have been a day earlier. No! In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. That Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered at a different location. Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility? He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity. Oh, yeah, one other thing. It's something the governor of Barclay Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Seif, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. She does do that exact face I was expecting. The professor. Apparently, you also enjoy listening to your mother's stories about her work, so you're wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago? That's not all Mama did. I'm sorry? My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks as well. Your eyes are sparkling. What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zeeks, the professor's final victim. The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then, but the detective in charge of the investigation insisted, and it was miraculously authorized. That detective being Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man. That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. And Mama was there for that historic event. What does all this mean? You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zeeks. They both spent their final moments before their burial on the dissection table there. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you tell us more about exactly what happened back then, Dr. Gory? She's gonna say no. Oh, wait, would she? Really? The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay Prison's execution chamber and sign the certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama's the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't actually take place. No. And worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. Oh dear, you found out recently, you mean? I believed in her, in Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her. Well, wanting to cut up people is probably the first bad step you're taking. You mean because you admitted the time of death on this autopsy report? But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it. Just like Mama. I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too. Yes, that's my feeling as well. There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. Big man with the little handcuffs? Or know what he told us. He was tricked by the chief warder. Says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing. Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? This autopsy. You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks. It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country, even now. It turned out that he was the professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as the secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson? No. Wait. Was Iris's let's say Dr. John Watson. I don't think he was a medical doctor, was he? I don't think so, at least. Maybe not. I don't know. He's always been Dr. Watson, but was he a medical doctor, or was he a doctor of philosophy or something? The doctor that, when people say, is there a doctor on this plane, and someone says, I have one, it's I have a doctorate in literature, and it's get this guy out of here. I thought he was that type of doctor, Interesting. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, my daddy. Forgot she's here. And there was one other present. The primary assistant. We're not getting shocked at that revelation? Also, oh my god, wait. Then he was here with her. Oh, there's the connection. Wait. Hold up. Let's see. He was a visiting student from the Far East. Wait, a visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugene Mikotoba. I had no idea Professor Mikotoba had been involved in something so important. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. So that's how they came to identify Genshin Asogi as the infamous mass murderer. Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more? Would you like to see the records for yourself? Would that be all right? What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? True! Release every millionaire's tax records. They're filed under V at the back of the cupboards with the other records from the last decade. Thank you. Wow. You might legitimately be the most amiable, person we've ever had in these games. Let's see, Venzeeks. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Venzeeks. There must be. Perhaps somebody took them away? No one's allowed to take documents related to the professor case out of this room. But you're right, they're gone. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh, yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. A consulting detective came one day, saying he'd like to see the records. Frickin' is it Sholmes? No, you don't mean... Herlock Sholmes was his name, of course! Deep down, I knew that was coming. Do you think he stole the records? Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right, can it? Iris? Oh no. She's also coming so close to learning that her dad's been murderized. Runo. I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave you now. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then. Oh, no, there's no need. You and Runo can take your time here. Bye for now then, good luck. Can she hire a taxi on her own? Wait a minute, little girl. Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you? Oh my god, she's totally her daughter. Have you, Iris? Yes, 2 years ago, when that detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then, too. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's the way it usually works, yes? Was I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris? I'll bring a pot for you when you get home. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer then. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. But next time you come, I'd prefer it if you were ready for a dissection. Can't make any promises, sorry. I like her. She's she seems scary, but she's actually really nice. She's weird, but she's really nice actually. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy have disappeared. But I think we've asked all we came to ask now. Have we? Did we? Can I talk with her? Let's have a closer look at this. Then again, let's not. At least, not while she's armed. Which is always, it seems. Okay. Well, feels somewhat cooler down here. Let's see here. I always get so nervous. Grand Place, decorations, Lord Van Zeek's. We have not visited this area for some time. Okay, well, let's go to Fresno Street. We're like Fresno Street because we're trying to find a fresh place for the body. That case is new. What's in that case? Room on Fresno Street. Police are still busily investigating in here. But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Yeah, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, but practicing what her boss taught her? Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait? Well, let's start with that box, actually. There's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't there? It's the box! I always use the time to investigate more thoroughly. It's the box! I need to see what's with the box. Or is it the chair? No, it's the box. This little trunk wasn't here before, was it? Oh, it appears to be made of metal. Must be very heavy. There's like a slash in it, too. I wonder to whom it belongs. There are some initials on the outside. Look. T.G. 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 T... Okay. That'd be it. Let's ask one of the policemen if they know how it came to be here. Oi, what do you think you're doing? Hi. That's my trunk, that is. Hands off! Gina. What? Where are you hiding? I don't know. You leave something unattended for a few seconds and every Tom Dick... There it is! We had cock, and now we have dick. All we need now is ballin'! And every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got his gritty eyes on it. Just a wild guess, Gina, but, whoa, spit out, Odo. Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial? What are you trying to say? Come on, his trunk goes with me everywhere, always has. Where have you been the last year? Trying not to incur your wrath, mainly. Strange that we're not talking about the thing. Anyways, hi. Tell me about your boss. You should hear them talking at the yard now. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're saying that it was the boss who killed all them bludgers. You mean the whole Reaper thing? Yeah. Apparently the boss was investigating stuff that no one else in the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals what got off scot-free. Yeah, the ones prosecuted by Lord Van Zeeks who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction. Well then, obviously, it was that bloomin' Reaper giving the orders, wasn't it? But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings? There was a notebook in his office. Oh no, this doesn't sound good. It had details about all the crimes that have been pegged as the Reaper's work. What? No, did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? I wouldn't flaming let me, cause I'm just an apprentice apparently. But it was me who found it, and he was my boss. That's right. I was pretty miffed about it, so I sneaked a peek at what was said anyway. Oh, that's our Gina, always breaking the law. Tell me about the secret notebook. So, you managed to see what was written in Gregson's secret notebook anyway, did you? Why, I see it. It's my right to read what he wrote. And what had he written, Gina? Dates, times, places, names, and a whole long list of them. All details about the bludgers supposed to have worked, all details about the bludgers supposed to have been done in by the Reaper. But there could have been an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities. Exactly! That's what I said! That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I recognised anyway. Well, the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known as leaders of London's criminal underworld. Oh yeah, but there was one name right at the end that was a bit odd. At the end of the list, you mean? I'm pretty sure the date against it was the 31st of October. Oh, the day before the inspector was found dead. So, what was the odd name? It wasn't a name I've seen before. It was something like, no, it's no good. I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way. Oh dear. What a pity. There was something else too. I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept coming up over and over again. Shin, it was. I don't suppose it means anything, but... Oh, there it is. Did you say shin? Uh, well, it does mean something. Lord Van Zeeks knew the name too. He mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did the deeds. And now we find out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook? Yeah, how does she relate to this? We haven't seen you for a while, have we, Gina? Well, of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating and that. Lads at the art are trying to trace the boss's movements the day before it happened. The day before? That would be the undercover investigation into the Red-Headed League, then. Oh, the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cove what was pretending to be him, didn't you, Odo? Yeah, it was Mr. Vigil who actually went to the park on Lime Street that day, posing as Gregson. Well, anyway, you ain't the only one turning stuff up. I got me own ways of getting results. Pupper! When me and my partner here get together, there's nothing we can't track down. Oh, little Toby. Oh, his name is even sadder now. Such a faithful friend. So, have you tracked anything down then? What do you think, eh? Of course we have. Can't you tell you though? Police business, isn't it? Anyway, point is, you lot ever need any help? You know who to turn to, right? Me and the hellhound here. Right, because he looks oh so hellish, honestly. The hellhound. Gina, about your hellhound there. How would you pick him up again? Chief Inspector Toby, you mean? He's a pride of the force, he is. In Japanese, police dog means something quite different, and not altogether nice to those involved in crime. But here in Britain, it's a wonderful compliment, it seems. Well, for a canine, at least. Should be. After all, in the great exhibition case the other day, it was Toby here who managed to locate Drebber's workshop. Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what this super dog can do, eh? We have something the Chief Inspector could catch the scent of, I wonder? I'm thinking.
Take that!
Right? Well, Chief Inspector Toby, you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. Look at that snooter. He might be a little too keen, don't you think? Wait, the Chief Inspector made short work of Gina there. Wait, the case? Look what he's gone to. Oh my, that trunk clearly sells a very strong scent of Inspector Gregson. In other words, must have belonged to him. Right, it's a fair cop, I suppose. And you nearly got away with it, too. You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what it can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that he might identify something that was right next to us? Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, wasn't it? That's enough now then, Gina. Hey! I think it's time you told us the truth about that trunk. Tell me about the metal trunk. What's the junk that's in the trunk? It weren't like that. It just weren't. What are you talking about? I know what's going through that head of yours, but that ain't what happened. All right then, what did happen? Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss's movements. So I let Toby have a whiff of the boss's overcoat. And as soon as I'd done that, he went off like a shot. Straight to that sandwich. To a sandwich, not to a bag of chips? Mr. Naruhodo, I believe Gina means the witness. Okay, even in Cockney rhyming slang, I have no idea how sandwich leads to witness. I don't get it. Oh, I forgot about that oh right, that sandwich! Okay, it wasn't rhyming slang. Yeah, yet he did it behind them wooden boards of his, the boss's trunk. So he stole it. You mean when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled in here? Exactly. I nabbed it from the scene. Goodness. Lane, Chief Inspector, gave that sandwich a good grilling, and you know what he said? That make, yo, guys, grill your sandwiches. Makes them so much better. I thought I might have fetched a good price. The chapper wouldn't be needing it anymore, so, but that's all I did. Nothing more, nothing less. Would you animate the cheek of it, eh? Stealing the dead boss's stuff to flog. See, Adam and Eve, that's believe. Like, that's rhyming. I can get that one, right? I get that one. So Miss Venus wasn't the only one to meddle with the scene of the crime then. How could they? So anyway, that's how it happened. And it's a pretty decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with that, eh? Well, maybe you and Mr. Sandwich should try to find the answer to that question together. Can we look inside it and find a secret compartment with Gregson curled up in there like, hello? I think perhaps that trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you? What are you on about? I am the police! Gina, if you wouldn't mind, will we maybe examine it? Oh, yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it. Thank you. We shall make a detailed record of our examination of the evidence. Gregson's trunk added. Okay, here we go. Oh? What's wrong, boy? What's the matter with Toby? Why is he acting so aggressively towards me all of a sudden? Mr. Naruhodo, be careful. It must be the trunk. Oh! Oh! Dog jump scare! Dog in 3D! Yo, again. Like, literally, Ace Attorney in 3D, like, that would have terrified you. Toby, oi, what are you doing? You're gonna lick his face off. Mr. Naruhodo, Mr. Naruhodo! Gina, quickly, hail a carriage. Wait. Is it actually, like, were we sent to the hospital or something? No, we just ran away. Okay. Did we faint from the dog? What? This is the weirdest twist. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, are you all right? Miss Asado? Ah, conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. After all, to drop dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier. Most unseemly. That animation is still so funny. What is or isn't seemingly is irrelevant here, Mr. Sholmes. Also, you nearly hit your head on the desk. That would have been also funny. I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How are you feeling? I'm fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? What's this on my head? A bandage? Sadly, we had no ice, so that's a compress of sugar water. Well, don't tell Sin Kisuke. Sugar water? Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a first aid treatment that my father taught me. Oh, well, thank you. So, let us take tea while you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup. Oh, that bump on my head is throbbing sweetly enough, though, don't worry. Whenever you feel ready, then. He's just gonna stand there. Can we look at this now? Oh. That's concerning. Look at this dark stain here. Do you think? Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Ugh, I knew you were gonna say that. So that presumably means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. To think Gina's been carrying this around with her. Didn't know any better. I suppose it looks like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. What frickin' fish are you eating, bucko? This is also concerning. I've seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here. It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. We unlatch it? Let's have a look inside. That is absolutely a secret compartment on the top. Or not. Look, there's something inside. Oh, let's see. Appears to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas. He's alive and he ran. Is Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? No, he's alive. He's gone. Wait, well, let's see. Perhaps the date of departure might tell us something. That was... Oh! What is it? It was for travel on 31st of October, just one day before the incident. What? Really? Okay, maybe not. Oh, right, he was going to France. Right, I forgot about that. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered? Wait a sec. Yeah, wait, the day before. Well, he did. Oh, a passport that says he did. It wasn't approval for going. He did go. Huh. How intriguing. I still don't believe he's dead. Oh, passport number there. Wait, yeah, date of departure from within 1 week from 31st of October, police business, permission for the applicant, and one additional person. Huh. Oh, wait, was that meant to be Gina? It might have been meant to be Gina. Yeah, tell me what to do. I don't know. I thought this would be done by now. Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo? It's rather unusual to find ourselves here in the middle of our investigations. It's just occurred to me that I might have forgotten something when we left this morning. Oh, please don't worry. As long as you continue to investigate thoroughly, you won't go far wrong. Oh yeah, of course. I must get back to work. So this is just the generic middle of the road one. Anything new with him in the room? Dharma? That Dharma doll's still winking at me, look. Wonder when he'll finally get his other eye filled in. Yes, I wonder. Well, you should know, Sasato-san. I entrusted the task to you. The truth is, I have already decided when that will be. What? Really? When? That's my little secret. I hope we continue with the Dharma theming throughout the whole time. I want it to continue to be a thing. Anyways, hi. We have questions for you. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Sholmes. My dear fellow, think nothing of it. I must say I was quite startled when I heard that you'd been attacked by a dog. For a moment, I feared that infamous murderer of so many had come back from the dead. You mean the professor? Fortunately, I see your prized throat is unscathed. That stiff, turned-up collar of yours obviously afforded some welcome protection. Was I that close to death? All I really remember is the dog licking my face over and over and over again. Well, if you wish to avoid such troubles in the future, a little mustard spread on the cheeks should do the trick. I should think that would balance the sweetness of your bandage rather splendidly. Can we not talk to him? Really? Okay. Let's see. Where do we go now? Or do I need to show this and be like, hey, what's with this? About this? Do you notice anything on you? No, okay, nothing here. Sorry, I don't know. Redouble my efforts so that next time I won't let you down. I think perhaps you're taking your role as traditional assistant a little too far. So yeah, I wonder if we could show that to Gina then? Yeah, we'll try that there. Okay, so let's go. Move. We'll go back to the Fresno Street and be like, hey, Gina, we opened it. We didn't even look around here. Oh, she's gone. She's gone. There are details of cases stretching back over 10 years on the notice board. Yeah, history of Lord Van Zeek's defeats in court. I don't think that's an appropriate description. Although, when you consider everything on the board, it's certainly true. But all these people had a background of dubious dealings. And in the end, of course, the board itself concealed the inspector's own death. Oh my, it really doesn't bear thinking about. Photograph of Miss Vigil. Realizing the identity of this lady was a very great clue to exposing Mr. Gossip's true identity. He obviously loves his wife very dearly, which is why he felt he couldn't tell her the truth. Transformation was incredible, wasn't it? Just from that one big twisted lip. I hated that lip. I'm so happy it was fake. Yes, he went to the extraordinary efforts to play the part of Hugh Boone convincingly. Although, it didn't really seem like it was much of an effort to me. Now you say it, I have to agree. Almost as if that was Mr. Vigil's true character. People really are very hard to fathom at times. Can't talk to you. Oh, no, Gina's right here. Okay. Gun, still there. This revolver, just who does it belong to? Well, we know it's of the type issued to members of the police force and judiciary. But Gregson's own gun was found on his person. And of course, Lord Van Zieks has admitted to losing the firearm with which he was issued. Such absent-mindedness, not dissimilar to you. Yeah, we heard this one. I'm starting to... Oh, maybe not all the way, but... I'm starting to think the cold-hard prosecutor and I could become friends after all. And I wish you every success. Little guy. Never imagined that this little figurine would turn out to be a watch-winding key. I suppose it's a policeman because the pocket watch was a gift from Scotland Yard. It seems there was much more to Inspector Gregson than we ever realized. He was clearly a brilliant man. It's the fish and chips that throw us off. I feel as though it ruined his image. I really don't think we should blame one of Britain's staple cuisines. Think about it. Imagine if it was Mr. Sholmes. How would you feel if instead of that old briar pipe that was always in his hand, Mr. Sholmes had a bag of chips? Rather disappointed, if I'm honest. Exactly. Nothing there. Hat. Catches your eye as soon as you enter the room, doesn't it? It's such a bright color, it certainly makes an impression, yes. They can't possibly commit any crimes, can they? I mean, redheads stand out like a sore thumb. I'm afraid with our jet-black Japanese hair, we stand out almost as much here in London. I suppose that's true. You mustn't think of committing any crimes, Mr. Naruhodo. I wasn't! Maybe. Using a candle as a timer device. Very ingenious, I must say. Yes, the culprit arranged it so the firecracker would be set off at 5 o'clock and then left. The loud bang was heard at precisely the moment Lord Van Zieks arrived, yes? Only he hadn't picked the gun up from the floor. Something you probably told yourself once upon a time, I imagine. Yeah, no, I've learned the lesson by bitter experience. I would have turned and ran a mile for sure. Which may not have done you any favors either. Hi, Gina. I put Toby down. No! Gina, I'm really sorry. It's daft, isn't it? You asked me a year ago the cops would... Wait, what were we doing? You asked me a year ago the cops would all go... Go hang? Oh, hang! Oh! You asked me the cops would all go hang for all I cared. But we've got to have police, ain't we? To catch the bludgers. So us divers can go about our business in peace. Wait, sorry? I don't think I kind of heard that properly. I said it was going to teach me everything I needed to know to be a detective. But all we got round to showing me is where the best flaming fish and chip shops are. Actually, that reminds me. Gregson said he was supposed to be going to Paris in the future, didn't he? Is something wrong? Oh, no, I'm sure I'm reading too much into things. It's just that the timing seems very coincidental. You know, my boss was acting a bit strange recently. Like he was always in a rush. Best chips in town. What did I get that for? Was that for learning about the fish and chips? Did I find the secret fish and chips thing? Turns out Gregson didn't actually die in here at all. On earth could he have been killed? Well, one way or another, we must find out, for the inspector's sake. You know, you look awfully pale again today, Mr. Naruhodo. Oof, sorry. When I start thinking it all through, I conjure up some horrible images in my mind. Your imagination is the culprit here, then. Most certainly guilty. Okay, so... I think there's... Okay, so nothing else in here. Yeah, okay. Fresno... Oh, can we go back to... Let's check out some of these other places. Let's see. Prison. Anything more for Van Zeeks that we could talk about? He's gone. Huh. Mr. Vigil's hospital bed. Oh, can we show him the papers and be like, hey, we got them? Or is he good? Is he like a sleep? Well, at least he seems to be on the mend. You know, his disguise as Mr. Gossip really was quite masterful, wasn't it? Can't remember anything about it except for the floppy lip. I imagine not even his wife would have recognized him. Perhaps, but did he really have to take it quite so far? Oh my god, we can't even talk to him? Okay, well that puts that away. Because you said we can't talk to you, right? Nope. Oh my god, where do we go? We can't talk to you. Nobody wants to talk to us, which is honestly a good thing. Oh, right. Iris left, right? Yeah, here we go. We gotta find out what's up with Iris.
Den Schlund es mir verbrannt, ach Hopfen deine Wut. Her mit dem Knacker ich befahl,
Das durch?
hat wie ein Diamant, den Zahn entzweie es brach, o über deine Wut.
What on earth is going on in here? Oh no! Am I having a bad dream? No. It's an old German folk song. Rather fine rendition, I think. That's the least of my concerns. Iris? Oh, she's sad her tea broke. Iris, what's the matter? Who's that sprawling, that relaxed gentleman there? That's your father, Sasato. Iris? Is she even listening? Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling you whilst you're singing so merrily, but would you be kind enough to explain the situation? Well, that worked. A crooning gentleman and a mute young girl. A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have incited the gods of deduction within me to find their voices, too. No, we're not doing this now. We're not doing this now. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean? No, we're not doing this. The strains of reasoning within me are playing now a delightful duel. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia. Why can't she talk? Can she actually not? She looks like her mouth is actually shut. Whilst the other is a morose theme about the great secret you're trying so desperately to conceal, Iris. She's turned white as a sheet. So as usual, you've instantly seen to the very heart of the matter? And by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song will reach its finale. So then, to Music Land, where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony. Pray, do enjoy Sherlock Holmes' latest Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. I'm so excited for this to be so wrong and then get it all right. Man's identity. Oh my god, you're all so stupid. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly, he's a German with no grasp of the English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings, and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is the man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, she has something in her mouth. What did you... Get that out of your mouth. Get that out... It's like trying to get like a dog who's eating... Get that out of your mouth. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. You obviously offered our German guest a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delectable flavors made this man's spirits soar, and resulted in this joyful ditty tumbling incessantly from his lips. I eagerly await sampling the flavor myself that may join in this fellow in this state of elation. Now to the next question. Who exactly is the gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the settee? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. It required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. Oh no, was he gonna get cancelled on Twitter.AncientLondon? In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigmunds von Ormstein. That name looks familiar for some reason. When did that come up? That name looks familiar. I forget where we've seen it before. The King of Germany. All right, wasn't that the oh, you like I am little German boy? Isn't that like the son of him? If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question that mask belongs to the King of Germany. It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I afforded him, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed, wouldn't you agree, my dear fellow? So the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the Great Exhibition. Okay. Alright. 2. Girls, silence. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack. A 5-pound note, I believe. I must say, as a compatriot, I'm deeply saddened. It would appear that you've allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for keeping quiet about the King's secret. And now the final piece of the puzzle. What is the secret you strive to hide with your silence, Iris? Yes, we need only follow that brief involuntary twitch of yours to find the answer. You are attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. My favorite coffee cup, in fact. Or should I say the handle of my favorite coffee cup? It appears that His High-Spirited Highness broke it off in the midst of his high jinks. I've never seen it written that way. That is not how it's written. Which leads us to the sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany, and Iris, you tried to conceal it from me. I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement. To hide the coffee cup. Wouldn't it be a teacup? Is there a difference? Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this painful puzzle. Well, you're still going to be sad at the conclusion, but I feel it's going to be different. With your silence as well, the fellow's jovial warbling rather rings in the ears, does it not? Mr. Sholmes, I must say something does rather trouble me. Pray, Mrs. Otto, do tell. His Royal Highness doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived. Ah! And you haven't said a word either, Iris. She's sad about the smashed stuff. Mr. Sholmes has it all right. You might as well own up to it now. Your reasoning isn't entirely without substance, I must admit. And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Yet another grievance, Mr. Naruhodo? Surely not. Well, I actually read the story of that case recently, the one you were just describing, and according to that at least, it wasn't the King of Germany, it was the King of Bohemia. Oh goodness, was it? Yes, that's quite true. Master Gotz, the prince, testified to that in court. In his words, I have come to see the great exhibitors away from my home in Bohemia. I would ask you to keep that minor error to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that it's our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped in. Yeah, even Mr. Sholmes is willing to admit he might be slightly wide of the mark this time. Although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. We need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene. But one thing is incontrovertible. My favorite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again on a joint presentation of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular? Alright, let's do this for real this time. Course correction. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly he's a German with no grasp of the English language. Okay, so yeah, we got here. Yes. We got this. I'm just gonna skip ahead. No real point. Let's do this. Iris is known to you. Yep. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. Reasoning for the man's Molly, blah, 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 herbal tea. Okay, so here we go. So what? It's some mix of herbs that got you the urge to sing? Goodness, I should like to try some. And I like to hear your singing, but this Yo, Riz? Just how long does he intend to keep that tune up, do you suppose? As I said, he's been stock still the entire time, and if you look closely, his lips aren't moving either. Oh! How do you not notice that? So, I'm not sure what's responsible for the spirited singing. I suspect the answer lies at the end of Iris's gaze. Maybe the player, yeah, it's right there. Well, first off, let's just look at it. Well, the cup's empty, that's for sure. I suppose this mysterious gentleman must have drunk the contents. Iris's special blends are quite delicious, I agree. They always make the heart sing. I understand wanting to vocalize those feelings, certainly. In fact, Mr. Naruhodo, you often erupt in boisterous laughter after drinking Iris's tea. I do? Maybe I should take some lighter laughter lessons from Sasato-san in the future. Is that a thing? Learning to laugh in different ways? Mask. We know this mask. Oh, you're right. So does that mean... No, surely not. It couldn't be. Could it? No, it's most definitely not him. Oh no, of course it's not. Thank goodness. But then why is this gentleman now wearing it? I'm afraid once again I really have no idea. It's gonna be your dad, right? Gramophone. Wait, this is a gramophone still rarely seen in our own country. The sound certainly appears to be coming from the horn. But machines singing that can't be right! Science and technology are changing the world rapidly, Mr. Naruhodo. What's right is changing too. Ugh, it's too much for my brain. Well, at least we found our answer.
Take that!
It's the gramophone. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the gramophone. Indeed, for no well-bred gentleman would break into obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all, in fact. It would appear that the fellow is unconscious. You can take it off there now. Oh, the music seems to have stopped now. I ask you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? Well, never mind. On with the deduction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the settee? It is. As it happens, a number of years ago now, blah 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 blah. Sholmes is just drowning now. Someone save him. King of Germany. Memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. It's not. You're so stupid. Oh my god, dude. Okay, King of Germany. Although we've already established that it was actually the King of Bohemia, seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason. Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he? Master Gotz, the boy whom you had in tears? Don't remind me, or anyone else. I suppose all members of the aristocracy of mainland England, or mainland Europe wear masks? I'm sure they do. Well, probably, anyway. Point is, that mask doesn't belong to any king. No, that's right, as we well know, as we can identify the true owner of this mask.
Take that!
Yep. Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to Kazuma Asogi. In other words, my memory is sublimely unreliable. Only you could try to make that sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days. Though that doesn't explain why the gentleman is wearing it now. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We need only excuse ourselves in advance, gently lift the mask and peer beneath it. I don't believe it. Huh? Father! I'm afraid, Miss Sasato, you must be mistaken. No! I think not, Mr. Sholmes. Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. This mysterious visitor is my unconscious father, Yujin Mikotoba. Logic and reasoning, or just looking and saying? Yeah, guys, this could have been solved very quickly. You're all so stupid. Alright. But now why is she sad? I wonder. It's almost like he tried to get into the trunk. The trunk is open. I see the trunk is open. Oh my god. Well, interesting. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you young Iris. So it looks like he tried to get into the trunk and in doing so broke her tea set. Yeah, that's probably what it was. And are those the papers that were in there? It's concealed inside your knapsack. So that's the £5 note poking out from Iris's knapsack, is it? Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money that we encounter is in coin form. I know, I'm not even sure if I've seen any banknotes here in Britain at all, have we? But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris's silence. He certainly seems like the silent type himself, though, judging by his present state. There must be some other reason for Iris's silence, I suppose. Perhaps what Iris is trying so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. Metal chest, yeah. Let's start with the knapsack here. Or backpack, if you want to call it what it is. Now I think about it, Iris always wears that little bag on her back, doesn't she? Yes, that's right, though it's easy to forget about it because you can't see it from the front, and we almost exclusively see characters in the front. There are 2 little felt dolls attached to it as well. Are there? I had no idea. I don't remember ever seeing them before. Is it possible there's always a 5-pound note sticking out from her bag that I just haven't noticed before, too? I couldn't say with absolute certainty, but I think it's unlikely. Can't go any further. Just looking here at anything else that it might be. Is there really nothing else to choose? Okay. Metal chest. This metal chest, it contains important documents, doesn't it? Yeah, details of all the cases Mr. Sholmes has worked on over the years. Written up by Iris's father, if I'm remembering correctly. Iris insists the chest is kept locked at all times. She's never once showed me inside. Well, its contents are invaluable to her, I suppose, and entirely irreplaceable. But look at it now. Well, the catch is unlocked for some reason. So it is! That's hard to ignore. Very. I've never seen that chest unlocked before, in all my time I've been staying here at Baker Street.
Take that!
Mm-hmm. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that metal chest. An excellent observation, for upon closer inspection, there is something different about the chest's appearance. It's kept locked at all times, yet now the catch is open. Evidently, this has something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure. I merely need to open this chest, says Ryunosuke. I thought that was him. Wait, was that a mistake? That was a mistake! It said Ryunosuke, right? Yeah. Here we go. No! Hurley, don't! Are you serious? Are you serious? All this time it was a stupid gag? Mr. Sholmes, Hurley! All this time it was a comedic gag. He's dead. Never! Oh, Hurley. I told you not to open it. So you found your voice now, Iris. Ah! In other words, what just happened clearly reveals the truth here. Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is... This is somewhat different to the usual dance introduction you perform with Mr. Sholmes, isn't it? Well, he's left me alone on the ballroom floor, so I'm gonna have to dance this next part solo. And anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this, or for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so... You mean you don't actually know the answer yet? Despite that knowing point of the finger before? Kinda do it before I know. Mrs. Sato, sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later. True! Oh, well, if you say so. I think we'd better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then. The key. Oh yeah, there are 2 little fellas. Yeah. For some reason, this knapsack is really standing out to me as suspicious today. Oh, is it? Oh, it's a little Sholmes rabbit and Iris mouse. That's cute. It's quite sizable it's quite sizable enough for a sizable secret. That's what I say. Perhaps it is, but we certainly can't open it to look inside without Iris's permission. No, you're right. Who knows what might pop out and punch us. Anything else? Just looking around. Looking around. Just looking. Nah, I think it's just the key. Oh, wait, skirt? Iris always dresses in these frilly clothes, doesn't she? I've always thought this skirt is rather delightful. It's pretty sizable with all those frills. Stop. Sizable enough for a sizable secret. You seem to be rather fond of that idea, but you certainly can't go investigating further. Does it look like that's what I was thinking? That's a weird place to go, buddy, even as a joke. Anyways, the key. That's a key she's holding, look. I'm sure that wasn't in her hands before, was it? No, you're quite right. It appeared as if by magic. That's strange. A big ol' iron key. Where did it materialize from?
Take that!
Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is that key behind your back. Huh. When Mr. Sholmes was thrown to the air before. Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your... Oh, the key was in her mouth. You slipped something out of your mouth. That something is the key now in your hands. No doubt the key to the chest. You're so clever, Runo. So now it becomes clear. Thanks to Mr. Sholmes' graphic demonstration, we can well imagine what happened here. But... So there's no stories in the chest? Professor Mikotoba also opened that metal chest only to be punched into the air and land sprawled on the settee. But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. What about the stylish scarf and cup of tea, and above all else, how would he be wearing Kazuma-sama's mask? Well, for those curious details, I can think of only one explanation. Clearly, an unbelievable miracle took place in this room. Isn't that right, Iris? Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful experience took place. When Professor Mikotoba opened the chest, completely unaware what awaited him inside, the mask was flung in... Oh, no way. There's no way. Was flung into the air just as he was, only to land neatly on his face when it fell back down. And the teacup's journey through the air ended up when it caught on the unconscious professor's finger. You mean to say that stylish scarf is actually just a tablecloth? This is the great detective's office, after all. A place of miraculous deductions. She's like, oh, do I gotta join too? Oh, cute! Would you expect anything less? Yes, you're right. It happened exactly as you said. Brilliant, Runo. Thus concludes Ryunosuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. That might be the most unbelievable thing of any Ace Attorney. So then, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all?
Objection!
Oh! An admirable performance, Mr. Naruhodo. But in the final act of the show there, you rather missed everything of importance. Mr. Sholmes! You would cast your eyes back to my earlier deduction. Iris, clearly you're hiding a great secret. She is, from the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, cat isn't out of the bag yet. So I put it to you again. You are attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. It really is a shame about Mr. Sholmes' cup. Must have been smashed when Professor Mikotoba opened the chest. Oh dear, so many things seem to have been broken here. But now that the deduction has taken a different direction, Iris doesn't seem to be trying to hide the broken cup anymore. In other words, her great secret is something else. Let's put our observational skills to work one final time then. There it is. Okay. Mr. Sholmes' favorite cup. Or what's left of it. Just the handle. It's obviously hurled into the air along with Professor Mikotoba. If only it had been this cup that had caught on the finger before it hit the floor. Yes, but anyway, whatever Iris is trying to hide, it's clearly not this handle. Knapsack! Surely this time, at last, the knapsack is going to be the answer. I'm really not sure why you're so intent on showing Iris's bag to be implicit in these events. Because it's a sizable bag, big enough for a sizable... Big enough to carry things around, Miss Naruhodo. That's what bags are for. So, the knapsack might never see the limelight, you mean? I really wouldn't like to say. It's really funny. Look! There seems to be more papers there. Iris trying to hide them underneath the tray? The insignia, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an official Scotland Yard document. What? Why would Iris have... We must ask her. Official Scotland Yard document? I didn't know that was a Scotland Yard symbol. You were attempting to abscond with that case file. Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes the attention of a great detective. Oh no. He visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today. And Whoa, that's a cool angle. And Dr. Gorey informed us that the autopsy report of Clint Van Zeeks had gone missing. Clint Van Zeeks. Yes, I do seem to recall. But some years ago, I was asked to see the report in question. You were with me, weren't you, Iris? Is this a remix on it now? Sounds like it. You mean it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are... I'm sorry. Forgive me. Aww. Congratulations. We've made another child cry. It just keeps happening for us. Deduction complete. Child crying. Hooray! In truth, I would like to have thoughts. I could have predicted the booby-trapped cock, dick, booby. We didn't get ballin', but hey. Let's just say I prefer this anyway. But it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly the late consulting detective Herlock Sholmes. I'm sorry, Hurley. So you mean this autopsy report really is... Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important. Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris? Is it because your dad was on it? Not exactly something that troubled me. Something I've been looking for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's. Yeah, that's it. The writing? Your father's writing? What do you really mean? Iris? Must be something that's hard for her to talk about. Forgive me for interrupting, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, what is it? I feel as though this poor unconscious gentleman on the settee has been somewhat forgotten. Oh, Father! Perhaps we should find our guest somewhere more peaceful to rest. Mr. Naruhodo, yes? Would you be so kind as to lend him your bed? We must do our very best to make him comfortable, I feel. Oh, yeah, of course, I'll help you carry him up. So will I. No, I can manage alone, thank you. You have tea to enjoy. I wouldn't want Iris's brew to stew. Isn't it on the floor broken? There's no better way to make the professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder, perhaps that was deliberate. Maybe Mr. Sholmes is making himself scarce to give Iris the chance to talk more freely. Oh, look at him! We must use this opportunity to talk with Iris and find out what's going on. Yeah, big drama here. Your daddy. Would you like to tell us about us, Iris? About your father? I'm sure I told you before, didn't I? That Daddy used to be Hurley's partner. Yes, and that notes about all the cases they solved together are kept inside that metal chest. That's right. Hurley told me, you see. He said that Daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet. That's one way of describing it. Then, when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build a picture in my head of what Daddy must be like. Well, that's only natural. You're just like any other girl of your age. I read that Daddy was a professor of medical science. Okay, right? That would make sense why he would then be with the auto. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So I studied and took my degree too. Well, that's only natural, I suppose. In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl your age, though. But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name. Oh. Huh. His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes he'd made about his work with Hurley. But then one day... That's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out. Is that right? Yes. So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye. Huh. When I saw the writing on that report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting, I thought to myself, because it was the same as the writing you'd seen on your father's case notes? Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly. I needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in the laboratory, but I was told I couldn't take the report away. And even worse, I was told that was the first and last time we'd be allowed even to look at it there. So you decided to steal it. When I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I had here, there was no doubt. The handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's. And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report read Dr. John H. Wilson. That's how I finally found out. I learned Daddy's name at last. I see. Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson. You didn't even know the last name. And that's when I also had that brilliant idea of writing stories all about Daddy's exciting times with Hurley. I decided then and there I'd write the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Oh, Iris, I had no idea the stories had quite such a deep personal significance for you. I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her now. And why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. Okay. I must apologize, Iris. This is really all my fault. Hurley? I made a promise, you see. Until the time was right, I'd keep the details about your father a secret. I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report back to Dr. Gorey and apologize, I promise. No, wait, we can use that. Yes, we'll go together, I think. Then let me look after it for you until we get there. Well, yeah, let's give that a look over. Vince's autopsy report has been entered to the court record. Good. I must go and water my herbs, I think. Oh, is that your euphemism for going to the bathroom? Mine is strain the potatoes. I'll see you all later. Poor Iris. She must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. Oh, What's wrong? What? How? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, dear me. So, you've noticed, I see. But that would mean... Clint Van Zeek's male, British, time of death, coroner John H. Wilson, death from a single stab wound to the heart, indicative of a duel, okay. Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document was found with the ink. Vital evidence recovered from victim's stomach during autopsy. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly for the autopsy. No internal trauma anywhere. John H. Wilson. Okay. Am I supposed to see something? Coroner, John H. Wilson. Something I'm missing here. Duel 33, midnight 31st. Okay. That would mean... What on earth's the matter, Mrs. Sato? You've turned as white as a sheet. It's this autopsy report, Mr. Naruhodo. The one from 10 years ago. The writing. Yeah? Wait, isn't Dr. Wilson's at all? Wait, what? Huh? What do you mean? How could you possibly know that? Because I know this writing very well. This writing. It's my fault. Were you goddamn Wilson all this time? Were you actually Watson? Wait. Were you here with Sholmes doing adventures? All this time? No. No. What are we doing? What? Professor Mikitoba's? Does that mean Iris and... There's no way Iris and Sasato were sisters, right? Right? Is it? There's no way. Indeed, it's true. And now you know. My dear fellows. No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind is just too extraordinary to believe. Please, you have to explain. Yeah, what does this... Wait. So, this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikitoba then? That makes no sense. It's not possible, surely. Not possible. My dear fellow, pray take a deep breath and think again. Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense. It does? 10 years ago is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain. And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikitoba engaged? Of course. He was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes, which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put his signature on the document. In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end. Oh, I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson. Which is very understandable, of course. What a complicated situation. Okay. It's signed by John H. Wilson, though Professor Mikitoba penned the report. Okay. So, thinking about it, most of what we know about you, Mr. Sholmes, comes from the published stories of your exploits. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by Iris. And we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure. So, what about this supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or not? Ah, you've come straight to the point, I see. And please come straight to the answer. I believe Iris explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade and the only person I could have truly called a friend. And did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest? Absolutely, my dear madam. Absolutely. So, where's your partner now? We rarely meet. You see, he lives on the other side of the... Oh my god. He lives on the other side of the world. But if this autopsy report and the records of all your cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed, by your famous partner, there'd be only one logical conclusion. Pray, impress me. Your partner would have to be Yujin Mikotoba. In other words, Miss Sasato's father. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? You are coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You have finally grasped the art of deduction. You mean to say... Allow me to introduce you to my great friend and partner, Mikotoba. The fact that he looks exactly like a Watson, and I called that, I had no idea. Professor Mikotoba? I did not see this coming. Does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson? No. My dear, I'm still my old self. Yujin Mikotoba, your father. Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Sasato-san to take in. Okay, they might not be related, I guess. I must say, though, how my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. I still remember the first time we met. Pray remind me, when was it again, Mikotoba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Yes, quite. 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Seishiro and Genshin. I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital, comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. But rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings and the expense, and was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective before you now. I was working at the hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for a little gain. And the situation of our cohabitation led to us pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe. It was a mere 6 years. We had a great many adventures. But in the last year of Mikotoba's stay in Britain, that most infamous of cases presented itself. The case with which you become rather familiar with yourselves. The Professor killings. After the trial, Seishiro and I were summoned back home. Hardly surprising given the circumstances. So there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. This is just amazing. Professor Mikotoba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner. Father. Oh, goodness, my dear, what a cutting look. As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you are the great detective's great partner. But nevertheless, you're gonna throw him. There's another mystery I must really ask you to explain now. And that is? You know very well what it is. The unresolved mystery of Iris's matter, rather. Oh, of course, I'd almost forgot about that one. Oh my god, are we actually... I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Oh no. Oh no. Did he shoot his goo, my dude? Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes? That is indeed what I told young Iris. Wait, oh, what you told? But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you. Upon my word, Miss Sasato. Oh no. Oh my god. You're coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You've finally grasped the art of deduction. What? What you've always told me, Father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study tour of Britain. And I've always accepted that, but all this about Iris... Oh, there it is. Sasato-san's ice-cold stare. No, now, hold on a minute. It was very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think. Then perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. There it is. The eyes go from ice-cold to red-hot just before she... No, really. You got the wrong end of the stick. Sholmes, say something, man. He's putting on his outfit. He's leaving. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. Mr. Sholmes, when did you get all dressed up? Whilst I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past, Mikito and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion. But it's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go? Why, my dear madam, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So, get your coat, Mikitoba. The game is afoot. But, Sholmes, I really must give Sasato a full explanation, I think. Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage awaits downstairs already. Our Uber is here, as the kids would say. You haven't changed one iota, have you? I mean, really. I visit our home after 10 long years. When I open that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably pass out. And as if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regain consciousness, I'm plunged straight in all this. Father, please, go with Mr. Sholmes now. What? I've no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best interest. I trust you, completely. Sasato. And setting the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together is more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams. Very well then. We'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruhodo. Good luck in battle, and in reaching a decision. A decision? About whether to go back to Japan, I suppose. Is the final case gonna be in Japan? That'd be cool.
So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself.
Right?
It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth. And that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
This was crazy. This was just one thing after another. I thought this would be like a 40-minute little last bits of evidence, and then we go to court. The legendary pair. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's pretty good. All right, guys. We will see you next time. Wait. Wait. What? Wait, this is the final Whoa. Whoa, what? This is the final Whoa, okay. I guess we're moving on to the final chapter. Huh. That's the weirdest episode 4 into episode 5 I've ever seen. Surprising. All right, guys. Final case. Next time, we're going in. We'll see you then for that, guys. Ciao. Yo.